Okay, here we go. So, um, I wanted to do a bit of a life update in a more calm, collected setting. It's Erev Shabbat, and I've been really in a busy, dare I say, chaotic period of my life, in a very positive way. But I've just been really like on overdrive. And um, I've been having a lot of fun sharing more on this channel, if you guys haven't noticed. And I've just been like very active since the new year. And I genuinely feel that it's, every new year, our fate is sealed, right? For that year, Hashem decides how he's going to, like, what our role is in this game, in this cosmic game of life. And I really felt that shift, starting with this year, that I'm in a more active place in my life now. After a very lovely, nice, calm period of just being a little more quiet, a little bit more on standby mode. Even on this channel, you can see there have been months and months of gaps when I didn't post, and I really just didn't feel like sharing or being very communicative. Um, and even on my social media, like I think I didn't post on Instagram for at least a year. It might have even been more than that. So I'm becoming a lot more active, and I feel like it's a moment where I really need to gather myself before I just rush into the storm. Um, but I feel like that that I'm already in it. I feel like before like that before phase was the calm before the storm. I feel like I'm in the eye of the storm right now, and I need to just ground myself a bit and allow myself a little more perspective before I just continue whirling through like a tornado. Um, I don't even know where to begin. One thing, so let me just, I think the appropriate place to put this would be a little context. Well, let me back up. I'll get to that in a moment, but I want to share that I've been having a lot of fun live streaming, and it's been really a really cool experience and a really interesting one for me. Because one, it's nice that there are enough of you guys on this channel now that there's kind of someone to talk to, just like through the live streams, and it's really fun interacting with people through YouTube, and I think that's been a really interesting experience, and I've really enjoyed it. And aside from me enjoying it and also being interested to actually interact with you guys, which is really fun for me, um, it's been very much largely in part to me being too busy slash a little bit lazy to actually edit videos. So that's kind of where that started, and why I've been keeping it up. And it's a bit of an ongoing experiment. But all that being said, this will give you a bit of context for this life update of where I'm at, where my head's at, where my energy's at. Uh, Yesterday, I did a live stream. I did actually did two live streams because the first one was really it was a really rough start because like my energy was really weird. I was just really frazzled at the end of not even the end, but like in the middle of a very busy work day. And the my internet was like either my internet or my phone or both. It was just really slow. So I just kept freezing on the camera, and it was just like discombobulated. So I ended up closing that stream and then starting a new one and then continued onward with that. So the last stream that you'll see on this channel, it's called Thanksgiving 2, the couple emojis. That was actually the continuation of that stream. And the funny thing, the reason why it's called Thanksgiving 2 is because the first video was like a whole Thanksgiving, like making dinner by myself on Thanksgiving or something like that. And I legitimately thought that yesterday was Thanksgiving. And I was the whole week off. And this just like frames where my energy is at right now. Like I've just been in complete go mode that I just literally lost track of context and time. And it's really funny. So basically, and now backtracking, I realize why I thought this week was Thanksgiving and it's actually next week. I talked to my mom on Sunday and I had a very specific conversation where she was referring to this Sunday as Thanksgiving Sunday. My mom's Christian, and for like in church, like they'll call it Thanksgiving Sunday, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I had forgotten that. She was explaining that to me. And because we were speaking on Sunday, I thought she meant like literally that day. And I thought that's really strange. Like that's really early. Isn't Thanksgiving the following week? And we literally had a little exchange about this. And she's like, no, no, like, no, no, we had back and forth. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. And I just didn't think twice about it. So I was like, just had it like locked in the very back of my mind that I guess this week is Thanksgiving. So I happened to be going to the butcher this week and to like get some things, and I saw some turkey and I was like, oh cool, like I'll get some turkey, I'll eat some turkey on Thanksgiving. And it just kind of, didn't make a big thing of it, but I was just like, oh, that'd be nice to like, actually eat turkey. So I made myself a little bit of a Thanksgiving dinner. It wasn't like a whole thing. Like it was like the level of effort I would put into any normal weeknight dinner. So it's not like I like did a whole Thanksgiving thing, but I like made a Thanksgiving themed dinner. And I was like, oh, it'll be like nice to live stream because I'm by myself and I was just like, oh, I'll have some company. So I turned it on. And the first video that I actually ended up deleting because it was so stalled and hard to watch. Um I was like talking about Thanksgiving and actually referring to it a lot more. And the second video I didn't really refer to it, but toward the end someone literally I was like asking like, "Oh, does anyone else celebrate Thanksgiving?" It was just like crickets. And somebody actually said like, "Oh, isn't Thanksgiving next week?" And I had the audacity to think like, oh, this person's probably like they don't know what they're talking about. It's like, because today's Thanksgiving. And I said something like, oh no, maybe that's Canadian Thanksgiving. Like that must be the Canadian date, which I also didn't realize is before American Thanksgiving. Anyway, after that, I don't know why, but I happened to look at the calendar like shortly after that stream and I realized like I finally like connected the dots and realized, nope, this is not Thanksgiving at all. And it was really funny because aside from that stream, I sent my family a Thanksgiving message. It was like, oh, happy Thanksgiving, like I miss our family dinners. And then there was a little talk about Thanksgiving, but it was kind of weird because my family wasn't sharing pictures or anything like that. So I was a little confused. Just thought it was kind of quiet. And then I sent my friend a Thanksgiving picture and said like, "Oh, happy Thanksgiving." And we had it back and forth about it, but like nothing really confirmed or denied whether or not it was actually Thanksgiving. So afterward, when I realized that, I was like, oh my goodness, that's so crazy, like how out of sync I am. And I called my sister after that and we like, I was cracking up. Like it was really funny. And it was hilarious that I like literally thought the whole day was Thanksgiving, literally ate a Thanksgiving meal and all that. But after that, like after me like genuinely thinking it was really funny, it almost scared me because I was like, wow, am I that out of sync? Like, and to be fair, they're like, yeah, Americans kind of do Thanksgiving here to an extent, but it's not like I would necessarily know or not just from the outward signs. The thing about being in sync, I feel very in sync here in Israel because I'm in sync with the Jewish cycle. And it was just an interesting moment for me where I was like, wow, I've like lost connection with this quintessential American holiday, which literally used to be my very favorite holiday. I think it is for a lot of us, Americans. And it just had this moment of like a bit of shock and like, yeah, it was a bit of shock, honestly, like thinking that I was so out of step with American culture, like just the rhythms of the Gregorian calendar. So that was one thing. And the second thing was this moment of realization that I was just really charging forward so much the last few weeks, especially in terms of being really busy with work and just I've just been like really, yeah, just very active, I guess. Like the last 2, 3 nights, I've been sleeping at like 3 a.m. and working quietly, and it's just been a lot. And aside from like actual work, I've even been posting here a lot more. And it's not even that I'm like making such a hard effort to like, oh, I should be doing more YouTube. Like, I just feel this natural energy that's just kind of pulling out and like pulling me forward. So I've been following that energy and just charging forward so much to the point where I'm not really looking left and right and getting that peripheral view of context and time and rhythm and stages. And to an extent, I think that's been really great because I think I've really needed that. I've really been in a quiet, dormant stage for quite some time now. I've been in like this long winter recess um in life. And so I'm very pleased to be able to be moving forward, like finally, because I felt very stuck and stagnant for a while. But at the same time, yeah, it made me realize like I've gotta like take a beat and and gather myself before I continue forward. Hold on. I just need to Okay, I wanted to check that it's still recording. As you can see too, I'm in a bit of a new setup. I mean, I kind of rearranged my apartment slightly. Whenever I feel energetically stagnant or just a little frustrated or something, I always like rearrange my furniture, move my plants. Like I'm very much about the physical space matching your energy, and however organized and however arranged and however tidy your physical environment is, like it very much mirrors and reflects your inner state too. Um, like a messy home is a messy mind. I firmly believe that. So, when when I just kind of feel that itch, I just rearrange things. And so this like couch piece, this is actually connected to a larger couch, and it's like a long extension, and I actually disconnected them and made myself a little reading nook here. So, I have a new little setup, and then I actually got this. I'm on a streaming camera, and then this mic that I actually bought for my birthday last year, um, and I hadn't really used it, so I'm trying this out. I don't really love the whole mic thing because I feel like I don't know, kind of like it looks very inorganic or whatever, but um, the sound quality is a lot better, so I'm trying to kind of see how it works. Anywho, all that being said, uh, I've I've just been going a little crazy. And I think the live streams also reflect that a little bit, where I'm just kind of like going with things a little more rather than being like stopping and pausing and planning and dot dot dot. Like I'm just like letting this movement kind of flow. So I think really as I'm thinking about that, oh, I guess, just to cap off the funny Thanksgiving um epiphanies I had. The other thing that made me like like the third thing I really thought about with this whole like Thanksgiving confusion was just the idea of family and community, and like the fact that I could get away with that for literally a week leading up to it, and then like throughout the entire day of Thursday, the fact that I could get away with actually being that confused and not realizing it wasn't Thanksgiving. If I had if I was married, if I had kids, if I had my own family, like that certainly wouldn't have happened. Like we would have known. Or like there would be someone to be like, nope, it's next week, and we'd just move on from that. So it made me realize like what an isolated existence. I mean, I know that I live quite an isolated existence, and it's mostly a bit by design. I don't really have a social group. I am very selective with friends, or I even use that word very hesitantly. To me, a friend is someone you could cry on the phone with, someone you can be completely raw, show your full nature. And I frankly don't have anyone like that here in Israel. And I'm very guarded, I'm very protective. Just I want to be very careful with who I share my energy with. So I haven't really found the people to like fully click with and bond with and actually get to that level where I feel like I want to sort of let them into my life. Um, and it's not that I'm like, I'm very open to it. I'm very open to it, but it takes a lot for me to find someone appealing to that point, to be honest, where I feel like we're like, okay, I can hang with you for a bit. Um, so yeah, I don't have anyone like that, or um I'm also single, so it's like I don't have the like people around me to sort of um I guess be a bit of a check and balance in that sense. So yeah, that was another thing I was thinking about. I mean, when I get married, like I would want to do like a really beautiful Thanksgiving. Like I would want to do a nice like real Thanksgiving where invite and host and all that. So um yeah, eventually I'll do that. But anyway, it was really funny. I was really like my eyes were tearing up. I was like really laughing a lot. It was just such a silly moment, but then infused by the state of shock and like, oh my gosh, like what happened to me? Um, and a part of me actually kind of appreciated it too, like, wow, like is this where I start shifting into a little more Israeli over American in terms of like, I don't know, my life at least, certainly is. So yeah, that was a fun little twist. Twist yesterday. But anyway, so life update wise, I mean, just, I've been really busy. So I'm busy with work. I'm really relaunching my agency. So I used to work in, I have for a long time now, I've worked in marketing, advertising. I'm a creative director, and marketer. And I used to be really a workaholic. And I was a workaholic because one, I think I had that parental role model. My father was a very hard worker. So I think I just kind of grew up with that model. And two, I was just a very unhappy person. So this is like before I really worked on spiritual development and became religious and all that. And I was just really unhappy. So I was just doing what Americans do and just working to like make as much money as I can and just chasing, chasing, chasing and like trying to feed this bottomless pit of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all this and all this energy and like, why am I here? And you just do this whole American dream thing and try to chase money and materiality as much as you can. Um, so I didn't have anything really driving me in life other than that. And so I was just working and just very unhappy. And I went through a really dark part of my life where I felt like literally like a robot. I felt either like a robot or an animal, where like a dog or a horse, just like, you're just like, yeah, like a workhorse. I literally used to call myself a workhorse. Um, but I think robot kind of felt apt as well. Anyway, it was just like so soulless, and um, I got very burnt out from that and went through a really dark period and abruptly quit a very great job, like in certain respects. Um, and when I quit, that's when I started this whole spirituality, religion kind of phase of my life, more in earnest. And it was a moment where I really started my tshuva process. Everyone like sort of I get typecast, if you will, as a convert, and like that's my thing. And like I don't connect so much with that as much as being somebody who did tshuva and somebody who's in the process, which is a constant process of doing tshuva. And for me, a giant theme of that time of my life was me committing really to never ever again get to such a dark place where I'm just working like a maniac, where I'm just in some kind of like heartless job that is just for money. And um, I really, really made a promise to myself and to Hashem that I will never waste my energy. That was like, that was the thing. I will never waste my energy. And that's been a bit of a guiding star, like my North Star of how do I use my energy in the way that I was meant to. And, I came, made Aliyah. I ended up, you know, getting a full-time job, and I kind of hit a point in that job as well. It was a very purposeful job. It was in an organization fighting anti-Semitism. I was the chief marketing officer and creative director there, and it was very fulfilling in many ways. But I also hit a point even there in the organization where I felt like I had to kind of ask that question again, like, where's my energy going? And I felt that as positive and as impactful and as many great things there were about, you know, what I was doing on a day-to-day basis, I still felt that little itch in my heart. Like my energy is not yet where it's supposed to be. So before I was supposed to get a pretty nice raise, I actually resigned from that position too. And that was in the spring. And Baruch Hashem, I've continued to work with them as a client. Um, and since then, I've been really relaunching my agency. And for a while now, I was operating under a name that was actually the name of a nonprofit that I had started at one point, didn't really get funded and launched. So, um, long story short, I recently decided to rebrand, rename, sort of redirect my professional efforts and open now under my own name and under a more of a creative agency model. So now my name is Meorah Creative. Before it was Bara Worldwide. And if you look on Bara Worldwide, at least as of now, .org, that's my most recent iteration of that agency model. And I've pivoted a little more because what I realize is as much as I feel like I'm good at marketing, I'm good at certain things in marketing, I have certain strengths that I can do as a marketer, and it's frankly the more lucrative part of what I do. I really enjoy the creative work more, and I actually really enjoy graphic design specifically. And it's not like I'm like the best designer or anything. Like I can always see better designers, but I feel like it's one of my fortes in my toolkit as a marketer and creative. Um, and it's where I want to continue to grow. And it's just fun for me. It's like arts and crafts. Like it's so fun and like it's like cool that you can get paid to like make pictures and do stuff like that. So it's like I genuinely enjoy it. So I wanted to go more into the creative side and be more of a creative director than a marketer, like than like a marketer type. Um, but my work is very much fused into both. So um I'm still kind of shaking things out because I think that I keep end up getting marketing work because I think what what's effective is when you can do both. So um anyway, I'm rebuilding myself in that sense and essentially coming back. It's like, the hero's journey. So you sort of go through this whole cycle and you end up in the same place where you started and then, over and over again as you reiterate and reiterate. And God willing, improve as you do so. And so I'm finding myself in a point in life where I'm very much in a similar situation in terms of the type of work that I'm doing and in terms of how busy I am as I was before I quit that position back in Boston. And it's been like 5 or 6 years now, I think. Yeah, like it's been a while now. So um I feel like that I'm at a moment where I need to, and all this with like that whole Thanksgiving story too, it makes me realize like I need to be very mindful of my ability to fall back into that workaholic mode. I need to constantly remind myself that it's not me moving, it's not my own effort, it's Hashem, that the Hashem is the animus inside of us, and that whatever successes I will Bezrat Hashem have are not my own, and that it's that it's really a bracha to be able to just be the vehicle and to just kind of sit back and experience it. And that's something I didn't do in previous periods in my life. Like I was very cocky. I was very arrogant. I was very much like so proud of like the work I did or the money I made. And I felt like, I felt like I was, oh, like, look at me. I'm like, I'm doing these cool things. And I really gave myself way too much credit. Um, and now, with a more developed, spiritually developed mindset and heart, I feel like I have that context now and, a little bit more maturity to see like, no, that's not not really you. It's really it's the divine hand. I believe that Hashem moves everything, everything, everything. And it goes very strongly with this idea of emunah. And when we think like if you really have emunah, you believe that everything is for the good. And you believe that everything is for the good because you believe that Hashem is in charge, is in charge, and the creator is controlling his creation. And I think people are very hesitant to embrace that idea because until you sort of reach this level of peace and maturity in your heart, um, you want to feel like you're in control and that you're in charge and that it's your effort and your reward and I earned this and da da da. It's like people really cling to that and want to feel like there's so much free will that I decided this and that, and it's just not true. And the whole idea of having emunah and believing that the creator is in control is actually so freeing. And you think that freedom is to have choice and to have Bahira and to be able to say, I chose good over evil and this and that. Like, but it's the greatest enslavement when you realize when you want to feel that that you like somehow have more control than the creator himself. Um, yeah, so I'm really, I'm really constantly reminding myself when I get stressed and frazzled, which happens throughout the day, when I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's like I'm just like doing so much stuff. I'm like, okay, like chill out. It's not you. Like just be along for the ride and kind of take a step back and be the observer of this world unraveling before you and just like you're just like in this movie and you're observing it and you're like, wow, I get to, it's almost like imagine if you're in like like in a, I don't know, in a movie or in theater or something, and you're an actor and maybe you're just kind of, you know, observing what's happening on stage before you or like what the scene is about. And at the same time, you don't actually know the script and you're just observing it and you also get to play in it. And it's just this cool experience. And that's how I like to experience my day and experience life. And I think that's why life has been just so magical here in Israel. Because it's this like almost surreal feeling to be here and to be in Jerusalem, of all places, too. And just like, wow, what is this divine drama and what role do I get to play and how cool is this? So that's how I usually think. But in moments of the day, in certain pockets of time, I, I lose that. And I have to, I'm still working on keeping that in my mind and Bezrat Hashem growing into a state of consciousness where that is the default for, you know, that's the default and only setting. So I think I'm really in a phase of integration and returning and taking all these things that I've been able to embrace in a state of isolation and applying them into a very communal, very active, a very engaged stage of life. Um, and and I'm just very pleased that I'm finally here, at least this far. That I've come at least this far. Um, because I've been plotting and planning and strategizing and just thinking so much for all this time, what I want to do, how I want to grow, what business model I want, what nonprofit I want to do. Like I've been just in such a staging phase that I'm like, let's just move now. Yeah, let's just get this show on the road. Um, and that's incredibly refreshing. And it's refreshing because again, back to the idea of Behira, of free will, I realize I've been ever so mindful in the last years that it's not my choice because no matter how much I wanted to move forward, I like didn't have the will. Like I couldn't. It's like I felt so stagnant. Like I've had so many businesses, nonprofits, like things that I've organized, things that I've planned out and like put a lot of energy into, and it just doesn't take off for some reason, or I just don't take the steps to actually press that button and activate it. Um, and that process has really helped me feel like and understand on almost like a visceral level, like, nope, you're not in control of that either. You go when Hashem says you're allowed to go. And and I certainly don't take that for granted. So I'm really hoping that this energy keeps up, that this animus is something that can grow and continue to charge me forward. Um, Really just seeing how often I've been posting on YouTube very naturally too, like not even planning things and just even live streaming or just like popping up things on social media, like that's been this like outward sign of encouragement to me that there's something changing here for me and that there's some kind of movement. Um, and also with my work and my prospective clients, which I have a few that I'm really hoping to close. Um, it's just I'm on the theme of Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful. And certainly don't take that for granted. So I hope that yeah, I'm having a good 57.85. It's really like it's really cool like how much of a shift I've felt specifically since the new year. Um like such a stark contrast. So that's been really cool. I have a lot of like my goals for this year, like that I'll share. I mean, I really I want to buy this apartment that I'm in right now. Um, that would be nice. I would feel so at home and at peace and secure to know that I actually own a property in Israel instead of just renting. Um, so I just feel like that extra levels of like sense of safety and security that I'm like really planted here and like I'm safe that like yeah, that just that safety, grounding, security, root chakra stuff. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I'm at this phase of building and anchoring and grounding and rooting. And that's very much the theme of this year. And I have like a very strong feeling that I'm going to get married this year. It feels very strong for me. And I'm saying that from a place of like, yeah, it's like a feeling in my heart. Like I feel like it's gonna happen. And I haven't really tried to make it happen. or really thought about it that much before. So so I take that as a pretty good sign of my like intuition, I guess. And I've had a lot of people actually say that to me. I mean, you never know. People would just be saying that to me because they think like, oh, she's old and she should get married and stuff. That's funny. Like everyone always wants you to get married. So maybe they're just saying it from that place. But I actually have this like feeling that it'll happen, which is a little bit of a mixed feeling for me. I may definitely want to get married, but I guess I would like to build myself up first, independent of, who I end up with, just to accomplish that, um, and have some foundation. Yeah, I think I would like to do that. But anyway, that's another thing where it's like it's not my choice anyway. Like things will just unfold as it's supposed to. And actually this week, kind of on theme with that, I was thinking a lot about this idea of manifestation. And it's like if probably a good amount of people who listen to this, anyone who's kind of gone through like a real spiritual process has probably at some point, especially nowadays with social media and algorithms and such, you've probably fell into the whole new age space or at least come across it, right? And this whole idea of everyone like really hyping up manifestation and listening to these manifestation mantras or whatever. I feel like the truth of it is it's not like you just dream up this like wild fantasy of like, oh, I want to be a billionaire and I'm going to manifest it. I think the things that you manifest or that you think about wanting to manifest, like those are meant for you anyway. If that's your desire, if that's what's in your heart, that's supposed to be your soul's highest path. It's your mission. It's what you're supposed to do, and that's the reason why you're thinking about it. Um, so I feel like when I don't know, I guess it's sort of a chicken and egg thing. Like I don't, in other words, I don't think that it's that you think like, I want like a Bentley or whatever you want, and then I'm gonna manifest it, and then I'm gonna put out this positive energy, it's gonna come to me. I think it's that if you're even thinking about that Bentley, then that's something that's supposed to be in your life path, and that's why you even foresaw that or even conceived of wanting to potentially manifest that anyway. And once you get into this high vibration, you're in a state where you're aligned with your soul. Like so you're on the path that includes that Bentley or whatever. I don't know why I picked Bentley. I think they're beautiful. Um so yeah, I don't know. It's like it's just funny how like the new age community tries to paint what manifestation is. Like it's some magical thinking that brings you all these cool things that like you can just dream up what you want. Um, and it's a lot simpler than that. It's a lot more just like, what is meant for me? What am I supposed to do? And how do I just get on that road? Um, yeah. So I think for me, I feel like I'm getting close. I feel like I'm on my path. I actually feel like that's like a bit bold and, you know, maybe audacious to say, but I think seeing all this movement, seeing all this activity, I've been kind of zigzagging a little bit, but I feel like I'm kind of on the path now. It's like once you get on your path, like that's when you feel that animus just moving you. It's like you're like a puppet and that string is pulling you forward and you're just kind of moving. And I feel like, oh, I'm finally on that correct path. It's almost like those I don't know what you call those, like mm, those walkways in the airports that are like not escalators, but like that move. I forgot what they're called. It's like you're walking through the busy crowd in the airport, and you're just, left and right, and you're kind of swerving, and like, yeah, you're moving forward, but you're like going in these winded ways, and you finally hit that thing, and you're just moving, and you're on a straight path, and you're moving really fast, and then if on you can either just stand still and let that thing just move you, and you're not even putting in any effort, or if you just put in even a little more effort on top of that movement, you're powering forward. And I feel like that's what a spiritual path, or spiritual development rather, brings you to. Um, and this whole lifestyle, Torah, mitzvot, like actually connecting to the creator on this deep, soulful, spiritual, metaphysical level is what sort of like lets you connect to all of these different touch points. And like that's your connection into that that motorized walkway, if that makes sense. It really bothers me when, maybe that just does not, I shouldn't say it bothers me, but frankly it does. I'll just, yeah, I'll say it. Like, it bothers me when Judaism is so pared down to symbolism or concepts or metaphors or ideas, and like we do these things because there's this like nice humanitarian moral aspect to it. Like, I feel like that really doesn't do justice to what the Torah is and what it does, and how it's this blueprint that we don't even understand because it's so complex to like activate our souls. And it's more like, to me, like we're these like complex machines, like the most incredibly powerful, intelligent, um, capable, divine operating systems. And we don't know, or not that we're the operating system, that we are, our soul is like the operating system, and our vessels are, the bot, the machine, the like, the vehicle, the device. And the Torah is the operating manual that gives us a guide to this incredibly difficult, complex system. And when we do mitzvot, it's like you're turning on each feature. And the more features you turn on, the more things that you connect to the main server, so to speak. If Hashem, if the divine energy, if the creator is the main server, like you get more, I don't want to say power, you get more features, more capabilities unlocked, and you become this whole person, this whole creation as you are meant to be created. And this whole Torah life, this whole path is about how many features that are designed and built into me that I have in this system can I unlock and can I unleash? And at the end of this whole process, which never really ends, but like, as this process progresses, how much, like, what do I do with this fully amped up, souped up like version of me, right? So it's like, what do we do with this then? So it's like, first it's like building this thing, unlocking the features, going through that process, and using this divine blueprint, this divine handbook, is one part of the process. And the other part is, now what do I simultaneously, like, what do I simultaneously do with this creation? Um, and when people talk about Judaism and the Torah in a way that's so much about story, so much about ideas, so much about morals and values, it's like, of course, that's beautiful, it's nice, and it's all in there. There's so many layers to the Torah, so that's there. But it's not even touching, even close to touching the really good, juicy stuff, the interesting stuff, like the like the real that we can't, like that inner dimension, that powerful mechanism that we have access to. And it doesn't do it justice. And what I appreciate so much about observance, about, I don't want to say religiosity, it's a whole different thing, about sort of the Orthodox, the Torah observant world, is that we're able to unlock all these features, that we're connecting to all of these things through the mitzvot. And when you just think the idea of Shabbat is nice in a way that's like a value to rest because, in this story, Hashem rests, and, like when that's all you've got, the creation is not going to develop. And I don't know where I was going. I don't know where I started this this tangent. I don't know what made me think about that now. Anyway, that was that was an interesting little side. Oh, maybe I was just because I was thinking about my energy. Anyway, um, my head's sort of I'm processing a lot constantly. But actually, like I need to being in this phase in life right now where I need to just be more, like I said, kind of back to the root stuff, back to physicality, materiality, like rebuilding, grounding myself. I'm in a constant battle. One of my big themes, I'm in a constant battle over Ruchnius and Gashmias, spirituality and physicality and materiality, and just how do we fuse those worlds. And as I said earlier, I'm in this like place of integration. And it's really time for me to connect those dots and sort of bring heaven and earth, together, within my own vessel too. I'm constantly very much in my mind. I'm very, I'm just like my mind is always on overdrive, or just I'm always thinking, internalizing inner world. And I feel like I just need to get back to basics a little bit and think less, do more, I guess. Think less, do more. Um, and I need to start building. I feel like I'm in a building phase. Yeah, building. Uh, I think a lot of times too, I've seen this a lot professionally when I work with other people. I think this difference between someone who is successful and I want to say not successful, but people who are more successful don't necessarily know more than people who are less successful. In fact, I think oftentimes they know a whole lot less than people um, who are less successful than they are. And I don't just mean financially successful. I mean just, career development, like opportunities, things like that, regardless of how much you're making. And I think the difference is that people who are successful, they just do things. They just move. They just go with it. And you don't always have to have all the answers, all the plans, all the knowledge, all the strategy. Sometimes it's just like, let's just go. Let me just do this. And let me just like, you know, throw everything on the table and see what it looks like. And maybe a few pieces fall into place exactly as they should. And like, we'll just roll with it. And I encounter a lot of people who kind of get too much in their own heads and like think they need too much knowledge or too much experience or certain connections before they can actually do things. And I think one of the reasons I've been in areas of my life where I've had more success, I think have it's been because I'm kind of just willing to try things and fail and just be bold and move. And whenever I can tap into that, like life moves and Hashem takes care of it. And even like me making Aliyah, like I didn't really have a plan. I didn't have money. I didn't know anyone here. I didn't even know like the different neighborhoods. Like I didn't. I didn't know anything. I'm just like, okay, I'm supposed to go, so I'm gonna go and we can make Aliyah because Hashem says so. Like we're supposed to live in Israel, so I guess I'm going. And when you just kind of move forward without a plan, I think that's all. I think that's always the best way to go because why would you want to rely on your own little human plan rather than just letting the creator run the show? It's so much better. Yeah. So that's even why like with things like marriage or dating, like I'm not planning for it and I'm not trying and I'm just like it's gonna happen if it's supposed to happen or whatever clients I'm supposed to get, like it's gonna just fall into place if I'm supposed to get it. It's like I'm not really married to anything. I'm just like along for the journey and way more interested and excited to see what Hashem comes up with because living this way the last few years, it's so much more interesting and it's so much juicier. It's so much more delightful, so much more fruitful than anything that I could have conceived of. Like when you're just trying so hard to make things happen in a certain way, even if it succeeds, it is nothing compared to what the creator has in store for you. Like not even close. So that's been kind of my attitude in general. And um it's been working out quite well so far. And life has been more delicious, more fun, and uh more enjoyable since I've been able to look at things like that. So all that being said, that's the attitude, that's the mindset that I need to hold on to and remember as I continue on now into this busy phase of life, like going back full circle into this state of like being more in my work mode, professional life kind of, yeah, side. Um, I want to do this, like redo this and do this the right way with Hashem's plan in mind instead of me doing it for the wrong reasons like I did before, being so stressed, like thinking I have so much control that I'm in charge, um, and being so afraid to let go. Um, yeah, I think that's what it is. So I just have to keep going and moving forward and trusting that life is going to continue to unfold in this like really, really beautiful way. Um, so I guess it's just a grounding, trust the process. And I think another reminder for me is to not be afraid to go back into this place of working and working hard and being in this like professional stage because I was a little shell shocked from that really dark phase of my life where I went through that and just really, really lost. Like I felt like a soulless machine in a way. And it's funny, I was kind of making this machine analogy before, but that's like in a very different way. It's a, I use an analogy because it's very apt, but it's almost like this very advanced cosmic high tech thing versus this kind of like dumb analog, like I don't know, there's a difference. Maybe animal would have been a more fair comparison. But anyway, I need to embrace this return for me. Um, and it's my chance to redo things, to rebuild myself, to have a company, to hire people, to have a team again, and actually just replay the game. Replay the game as Meorah 2.0 versus Grace beta model. Grace was my name that my English name that I grew up with. Um, that was like the beta. Yeah. So that's it. That's like quite a heavy life update, but I'm very glad I did this because so much of this channel, I learn a lot from rewatching my old videos, and it's precious to me to be able to see the different stages as I grow, and it's also precious to me to have this vehicle for me to unpack my thoughts by speaking out loud. It's like it's one thing to journal, which I also do, but when you have to concretize ideas and try to distill who you are to for the sake of an other to have somebody else hear it, um, it really helps me process. And that's been a really cool part of this whole YouTube thing. Um, and I feel like I've grown so much in the last year from YouTube, from being on here and having the ability to go through this process. Um, and now that I'm working on other people's videos, like not on this channel, that's been a huge growth for me too, that I've really cherished that process. Um, because I am very happy to be in a cave eating carobs, like being on my own, and I can totally hermit. I'm a great hermit. Like I can really enjoy being by myself. But it's very non-Jewish. It's very the whole idea of being here is to integrate and to bring heaven down to earth, to bring the holiness of that spiritual cosmic source energy and to be the conduit of bringing it down into this ground, this land, this plane of existence, this game arena that Hashem, that the Creator created for us to play in and to reveal. And you can't experience or partake in revelation if you're just playing alone. It's not the point. So being on these other channels, like being on Big Jewish Ideas, like doing that kind of stuff, it's really helped me just like come out of my shell, practice public speaking, which it's like really like a real life goal for me. Like I'm terrified of speaking in, a large, not even a large crowd, like even in front of like 20, 40 people, like I get so flustered. It's really hard for me. And that was another big reason why I started this channel, because I wanted to be able to really um just to like speak, not just to speak better in front of people, but yeah, I guess just to be more comfortable speaking in public. Yeah. So so all this has been a really nice experience for me. And I feel like whatever I end up doing, that this will sort of be part of my path. Um, because it's leading to some interesting situations and interesting opportunities that are surely on my path. Um, so I'll cap it off there. I think this ended up being quite a long video. Uh, and on the theme of Thanksgiving, I want to thank you guys for listening. And it's one thing when I can share maybe a little knowledge or even a partial reading or something that's sort of not really me, and be able to help someone even slightly. Like that's such a beautiful part of what I'm trying to do here on this channel. and certainly rewarding. But it's a whole different level when I have even a few people listening through to a long video like this when it's kind of just me, or watching me on a weird live stream, like eating my dinner and just chit-chatting. Like it's very sweet and it's very nice and it's very heartwarming that there are even a few of you that are sort of along for this ride and interested to just engage or I guess experience me as a person. Um, it's very lovely. So I want to thank you guys for, those of you who actually watch this video through, I think would fall into that category. And I'm incredibly grateful for that. And I hope to, you know, I hope to just bring something positive to anybody who does watch me on this channel or in real life or anywhere. Um, yeah, I just hope to bring something positive to the world. Um, all right, well, I'm gonna see you guys again soon on Sunday. Bezrat Hashem on Sunday, Bli Neder, that I will do another Parsha reading. Um, and I hope you guys join me for that. And I think maybe I'll post this today, actually, and just right, because this is like a nice video where I don't have to edit it, which makes it all the more easy. So I hope you guys have a really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Shabbat. And yeah, Shabbat Shalom. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.